Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Premier League with FPL Wizard. I hope you're all fine and I hope you're having a good time. I hope you had a great Game Week 21. First of all, apologies because I could not stream for Game Week 21. I was just, my throat was absolutely fried and there was no chance that I was gonna be able to talk that much. So apologies for missing out the stream for Game Week 21. So I'd just like to show you how I fared in Game Week 21 before we actually get started. So it was a decent-ish kind of game week. I mean, it was only dependent on whether you captained Isak or maybe Palmer. Or otherwise I think everybody had most of the players which were available. So I captained Power. I got 71 points last game week. The overall rank is now around, I think, 1.4 million. I need to get a move on actually. I've been in and around these kind of ranks. Like I've been up to 1.2 million, then down to 1.5 million. I've just been kind of jumping between these ranks now. Need to get a move on, and I think the time is coming when we get a move on, because the double game week is going to be on us and the blank game week is going to be upon us, and we're going to be able to use the assistant manager chip and all that stuff. So there's lots to discuss actually, and let's just get on with it. So I'm not going to be discussing too much about my own team. So, and I've already made one transfer, guys. I've taken out Strand Larsen and I've brought in Chris Wood. And that is my transfer for this week. I've still got one free transfer which probably I'm going to be rolling going into Game Week 23. And before Game Week 24, I'll have 3 free transfers, which actually bodes really well for me because that's a double game week, and I might want to play my chips. I might want to play assistant manager. I might want to play triple captain. So it all depends on how things pan out with the semi-final between Liverpool and Tottenham and all that stuff, and the results in the Champions League as well. So we'll get into the nitty-gritties of the stuff anyways. I don't want to kind of make it too heavy at the start. So hey, Backshot, Zara, Jackson, James, welcome to the stream, guys. Thank you so much for being here. So guys, the logic behind my move is pretty simple. I mean, Strand Larsen was mainly being sitting on my bench for the past few weeks, hadn't been doing anything good. Even when he scores, he's still on my bench. So I just wanted, and I think it was a decent-ish entry point for Chris Wood, even though the upcoming fixtures after this one are a little bit tough. They're not the best. I mean, Bournemouth away, Brighton, Fulham, Newcastle, Arsenal, City. So they're not the best of fixtures, but I think Wood is the kind of player who's a season keeper, just like Isak. I think the only change which I'll make to my striking department is possibly moving out João Pedro when the time comes. It depends on a lot of things, So yeah, let's get to the question. This is about my team, guys. Right now I'm a little bit in doubt whether I should be playing João Pedro or Morgan Rogers. Right now I'm on João Pedro, obviously. Morgan Rogers on the bench, but I don't think I'm going to change that. But let's see, because João Pedro is a bit of a doubt with an ankle injury, even though he's not been flagged here. Hey CAV, welcome to the stream. So CAV says, hi Wiz, 3 transfers already made for me: João Pedro, Enzo and Dibbling to Jebison, Ahmad and Elanga. I mean, the transfers are nice, man. They're all basically enabling category players, and all the ones which you've brought in are in form. Ahmad and Elanga, most particularly, they're in form. Ahmad scored a hat-trick in the last 10 minutes of that game. It just totally turned it around on its head. I mean, United were losing to Southampton, and they turned it around, and Ahmad, whoever owned Ahmad then played him. Wow, man, what a return he got. Amazing. So I like the transfers, CAV. Nothing not to like about them. The only thing I would say is right now, I mean, it is not a time to be making too many short-term transfers. We need to save our transfers because we need to plan for Game Week 24, double game week, and blank game week 29. We need to kind of stack up those transfers as best as we can. So the transfers are good and I like them, CAV. Buckshot says, Timber or Roger, this please. Buckshot, to be honest with you, I think Timber is going to play this game. even though you get the news that Ben White is back in training and stuff, but I think Timber's position should be safe. Whether you should be playing Timber or Morgan Roger, I mean, if you already have Gabriel, I think you'd be all right to play Morgan Rogers in this game. Uh, Personally, I don't think Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet in this one. I think Aston Villa, I don't know, they're kind of a boogie team, being a boogie team for us the last year as well. And even this time, I feel that it's going to be it's not going to be a clean sheet for Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal can win this one because even Aston Villa are not in the best of form or anything like that. But clean sheet, I don't think so. And on the other hand, even Timber hasn't been that attacking because you know that attacking threat came from Saka, and Timber was overlapping him. Now Saka's not there, so you know, it's a bit dubious as well whether he gets attacking points or not. So I'd pick Morgan Rogers, mate. FPL Juggernaut says one last dance with Haaland is on for me, man. I mean, I'm just thankful that I got rid of Haaland at the right time. It's just been pain for the owners. I mean, I saw, you know, I mean, even last week, Foden scored a couple of goals, you know, against Brentford. I thought Haaland was a pretty good captain. Juggernaut spoke to me. We thought that, yes, he is a good captain. I personally, I thought if I owned Haaland, I would have possibly captained him as well. So I wasn't to be. So yeah, I mean, one last dance is good enough, mate. I hope he delivers for you this week. And I think it would be high time for you to move him on. Lighter says, hey, hearing Saliba might be a doubt. I mean, I read a few comments as well. Light rays, but hard for me to categorically say that he's going to be doubt. I'll just read out my predictions in this case. Just a second. Yeah. So in my notes, I don't have anything on Saliba. According to my notes, I think Saliba should be fine. The only thing Arteta said about any new players coming back is Ricardo Calafiori might be back. That's the only thing he said. But if we get any news, I'll let you know. In my notes, I don't have anything on Saliba, mate. CAV says... CAV says, I had 5, so will again have 3 from next game week onwards. Have planned to get some Liverpool players by selling Haaland. That's nice, CAV. Then that's fine then. Aina in, Mazraoui out. I think you can do that, but the thing is, even Aina doesn't have really good fixtures. This week he does have a good fixture against Southampton, but if you look at the long-term fixtures, they don't look so good for Nottingham Forest, at least until game week 29. They don't look so good. Wood is a different option, but Aina, I'm not so sure. Did you get a chance to look at my team? Yes, Jackson, I really don't think that you have any transfers to make. The only player I don't really like in that one is Brennan Johnson. Beyond that, everybody else is fine. So if that's the only thing you can do, is you can maybe move on Brennan Johnson. If you want to, that is. But other than that, your team looks alright, mate. No need to make your transfers. Save them, because we've got a double game week coming, and we might need to bring in more Liverpool players, or maybe one Everton, you know, you never know. So Majid says, I have Sarr. Should I take a hit for Sarr to Foden or Elanga? Already did Pedro to Wood. Will Sarr start? To be honest with you, mate, Sarr is a hamstring, like he had a niggle in his hamstring, so he is a doubt. But if you have him and you have a good bench cover, I don't think you need to kind of sell Sarr, because either he features, he starts, or he doesn't feature at all. I mean, I don't think if he's not fit enough to start, they're going to bring him off the bench or anything like that. So if you have a good bench cover, then you can keep Sarr. But if you don't have a good bench cover, then you can consider selling him. If you want to go for Elanga, Foden, I would not go for, because after the next week, after this week, the fixtures are going to turn for City. They're going to have tough fixtures. I mean, they play in 24 against Arsenal, so the fixtures are turning. So I wouldn't go for Foden. Elanga is fine. I mean, Ahmad is fine if you want to go for Ahmad as well. But if you have good bench cover, then I don't think you need to make this move. If Saliba was out, would it be Timber and Partey at right back? I mean, it could be, but if Timber center back and Partey right back, no, it could be. But I mean, if Calafiori is back, CAV, then it is also possible then that Calafiori could play there. You know, so it's not. I mean, if Calafiori was not available, then yes, I mean Timber can move to center back and Partey could move right back. That is true. Geeta says, "Hi Sam, I've got no bench. Do I take a -4 to cover if Palmer doesn't play?" You have no bench, Geeta. I mean, who do you have on your bench, mate? Which players do you have on your bench? Let's just discuss that and then I'll tell you. Gaspa says Henderson or Fabianski bench. I would put Fabianski on the bench, mate. I'd play Henderson. Although I feel that this is going to be a goal scoring game on both sides. I don't think that they're going to keep clean sheets, but I'd still play Henderson. Even personally, I thought about playing Fabianski over Pickford, but I decided against it. I thought let's just stick with Pickford. Start Colville or Rogers? I mean, if Colville wasn't a doubt, I would possibly actually have considered playing him as well. But you know, since he's also had a niggle, he's not going to be in training according to the comments by Enzo Maresca. So we don't really know what's going to happen here, mate. So you need to kind of I just simply play Rogers, CAV. Although I mean Arsenal is a tough fixture, but Arsenal's defense isn't as airtight as it was previously. So I mean if anybody's gonna get a chance against Arsenal, it's gonna be Watkins or Rogers. So you can take a chance. G-Red says I have Sarr and Palmer and Diaz and Lawson currently at first sub, wanting to roll into the double or this needs surgery. Palmer is fine. I think Palmer should be alright. I mean, after getting that knock, he still played on for like, what, 45 minutes? 50 minutes? So I think Palmer, even though he's not been training, I think he should be alright. Luis Diaz had a cold, I think a sore throat or something like that. I think Luis Diaz should be alright as well. Maybe Larson you can sell and get somebody like a Chris Wood. Otherwise, I think it's fine. Ismaila Sarr is also going to be out for one game week. If you have bench cover, then you don't need to sell Ismaila Sarr as well. My bench is Greaves, Winks, and Wenderberg. I mean, Greaves is playing, right? So you have some cover on the bench, even though they're playing a very, very difficult team. So you don't expect any point from Greaves, but you know, you have cover on the bench, mate. So, but I feel if Palmer is the only person who is doubtful, I don't think you need to make a transfer or take a hit. I would just roll and put Greaves on the bench and see what happens, mate. I could play Castania, but it would be double Fulham defense, and they looked awful against. I wouldn't play double Fulham defense, mate. If you have Anthony Robinson, I mean that's fine. Doubling up, I don't really think so. Even though Leicester have like 6 losses in a row, or I think 5 losses in a row, whatever that is, I still feel that doubling on Fulham defense would be a bit much. Devendra says, I still own Haaland. Do you think I should captain him instead of Salah, Isak and Palmer? I mean, last week I thought Haaland was a good captaincy option as well. That didn't pan out too well, mate. I mean, if you own him, I think that's fine. You could captain Salah and play Haaland. I think captaining him, I don't know, mate. I mean, if he delivers, you'll still get good rank boost, you know. But since everybody's going to be captaining Salah, maybe somebody will captain Isak, you know. So I wouldn't go against the grain right now. Not after last week. I just don't feel like captaining is a good ploy, mate. If you have him, he'll still give you a good boost in rank. Would captain, I don't know, Gaspar. I mean, if you want to captain him, that's totally up to you. But I mean, the problem with Chris Wood is, you know, he is mostly a 1-goal person, you know. He very rarely, if you see his 8-pointers, 8-pointers, 9-pointers, 7-pointers, you know, when we captain, we want a person with a higher ceiling. And I'm not sure if Wood has a very high ceiling, mate. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. I mean, is Sack captain? If you ask me, maybe I'll be a little bit more forthright. Wood, I'm not so sure, mate. Subhajit says my bench is Rogers, Mikalenko, and Burgess. Also, I've got Palmer. If he doesn't feature, then not a good bench. I mean, it's all right. You've got Rogers, you've got Mikalenko. It doesn't make a difference, man. Palmer is not a long-term sell anyway, so there's no point in selling him or, second guessing what Maresca's gonna do. Palmer got injured and played 50 minutes with that injury, right? So if it was that bad, he couldn't have continued to play. Even though he's not training, I think he's gonna be all right. I think we're looking too much. Let's actually, you know what? Let's go to MI Jump the Wave and see what the club fan of the Chelsea Football Club have to think about this one. It's no point in me kind of saying Joao Pedro is playing, right? Hang on, let's go to Chelsea predictions and let's take it from there. So you see Arsenal, Gabriel, Saliba. See, I think Lightrace was asking about Saliba. You see, 100% of the fans even think Saliba is going to be all right. So I don't see any issues there. Let's go to Chelsea first. Vicario, no. Mitoma, United. Where's Chelsea predictions here? I'm sorry, guys. Just a second. Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool. I don't see Chelsea predictions here. Maybe let's just take it from here. So this one, you see, Nicholas Jackson. See, the fans even seem to think that Palmer is going to start. So you get my point, right? I feel that, even Colville, they're saying Colville is going to be fine. The fans seem to think that Colville is going to be fine. So yeah, I think you shouldn't worry too much about Palmer, guys. I think Palmer is going to be all right, to be honest with you, if you ask me. What's your transfer plan? I've already taken out Larsen for Chris Wood, mate. I've already made one transfer. SH says, hey SH, I hope you're doing well. He says, hey Wiz, how are you? Any transfer for this week? Yeah, I already took out Strand Larsen, and brought in Chris Wood. Let me have a sip of my tea because it is slowly turning to iced tea otherwise. So yeah. I took out Strand Larsen and brought in Chris Wood. Juggernaut says I've got Rogers, Rico Lewis, and Greaves as cover for Colville. I think Colville should be fine, mate. Sar, Enzo, Palmer, shall I make a transfer? To be honest with you, Juggernaut, I would make one transfer. Possibly I'd take out Enzo, just as an insurance policy. Because I wouldn't want... I think Palmer should be alright. Sar, I'm not so sure about. But you've got... If one of your players doesn't play, you have a cover in Rogers, right? Even... I'm not sure about Rico Lewis, whether he starts or not, it's erratic, right? But if two of your players don't start, then you're going to be in a little bit of a mess, right? So I think it would be a good idea to take out Enzo Fernandez and bring in somebody like Elanga, maybe Amad Diallo, some of these enablers, whichever one you like out of them. I think that's not a bad idea to do, mate. Hassan says, Captain Palmer, I wouldn't, no. Because I'm not sure if he's going to be fit enough to play 90 minutes, so I wouldn't captain Palmer. I think this week the best captaincy shout for me, Salah, Isak, Haaland. These are the players I would actually think about captaining, mate. Munoz or Robinson in the starting 11. I would start Robinson, mate. Even though Fulham wasn't good, they conceded 3 goals. Robinson still fluked in 2 assists, so why not? I would start Robinson, mate. West Ham, new manager at home. It's gonna be all right. I think they're gonna score, West Ham. So I'm not thinking about a clean sheet for Crystal Palace here. Last week was Fulham defense was abysmal, but Robinson still got 8 points, right? So we have to take a chance. At least play the one which Munoz attacks as well, but he hasn't got the same attacking returns as does Robinson this week. He'll chip in with assist in a couple of weeks, once in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. So you always want these kind of players on in your team rather than going for Munoz. Just a second. Right, back to Twitter. Not sure why they've not shown predictions for most of the Man United. Ahmad obviously gonna start. Zirkzee, Kobe Mainu, Mazraoui, Agate, Delo, Brentford, we already know. Diaz is 65%. I think he's gonna be alright. Gakpo 80%, McAllister, Gravenberg, Robinson. Yeah, some people the fans are even beginning to call for a start for Tsimikas. As soon as he came on, he delivered a corner for Jota, off which he scored. Salah's 99%, as high as only Van Dijk. Yeah, Diaz is gonna be alright. Somebody was asking me about Diaz earlier. I'm sure we'll be fine. I think Martinelli and Trossard start this one. People are maybe confused about whether Sterling's gonna start. I don't think Sterling's gonna start this one. He was not good in the last game when he played. Empty said, great stuff. All the best for this week. Thank you so much, mate. I wish you all the best for this week as well. Spurs, Davies, Dragushin, Madison, Pape Sarr. I think Pape Sarr is going to start over Bizuma. Leo says starting 11 is Sells, Hall, Robinson, Gabriel, Trent. So you got 4 defenders and they all 4 are good for this week. Gordon, Salah, Elanga, Palmer, Isaac, Wood. This is a fantastic team, mate. I like it. You know, maybe I'll move the formation around a little bit, but just looking at this team, it's as strong as it can get for this week. I think it's pretty good, mate. You know, you've got 2 Nottingham Forest players against Southampton. They're both in form, Elanga and Wood. Can give you good differential returns, Elanga. James says, what's your chip strategy approaching the doubles? James, I've been thinking about it, my chip strategy. And I think personally I'm gonna triple captain Salah in game week 24. I thought about the assistant manager chip as well, but I feel that chip has a lot more layers to it than simply just getting the winning manager. You know, there is a possibility that Tottenham might get a double game week, you know, in game week 25, especially if they can beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup semi-final. You don't know yet, and you won't know it, you know, once game week 24 starts, because that game is in midweek after that. So I really don't want to play the assistant manager chip at that point. But the thing is, triple captaincy is also a little bit doubtful, because, you know, Salah's going to play too many games as well, because he's going to play the double game week in game week 24 against Everton and Bournemouth, and then he's going to play the Carabao Cup semi-final. Maybe he's going to miss one of the Champions League games because Liverpool already look to have qualified. They just need, I think, 1 more point. But I am more comfortable playing triple captain in game week 24 than I am in playing the assistant manager chip. So the next window for assistant manager chip for me is 31, 32 and 33, and the next window is 36, 37, 38. It depends on how things pan out, but I think I'll play my assistant manager chip in maybe 31, 32, 33, or I'll keep it for the season end, 36, 37, 38. And triple captaincy I'll play in 24. Maybe it depends on how the chips play out and which teams blank in game week 29. If I can manage to survive without free hitting, then I'll possibly dead end my team into 29, and then maybe wildcard after that, and then play the bench boost in the double game week in game week 33. So that's a rough plan. You know, I'll do a chip strategy stream separately. Maybe I'll make a few slides and discuss what I plan to do. I think as the Carabao Cup semi-final result comes and the FA Cup 4th round results actually start to come, I think things will become much more clear for me. But as of now, this is the plan. Triple captain 24 and assistant manager in game week 36. The other chips I'm open to kind of swapping around, like the bench boost and the free hit. You know, I'm flexible with them, mate. Absolutely flexible with them. I hope that answers it. Imran says, afternoon Viz. Good afternoon, mate. I hope you're doing well. I hope your team is doing well as well. So Sukraj says, hey bro, start Joao Pedro or Castagna. Hey Sukraj, I hope you're doing well. I would start Joao Pedro over Castagna, mate. I'd definitely start Joao Pedro over Castagna. Fulham were not good defensively. Castagna not looking good for attacking returns anyway. So, yeah, I would start Joao Pedro. I mean, Brighton always kind of does well against, if you saw against Arsenal, they still found a way to kind of draw that game. Against the bigger teams, I think Brighton have this something in them to kind of, take the fight to the bigger teams. So I feel that Joao Pedro can be fine. Even though he won't be playing as a lone striker, I think Welbeck is going to come back for this game, but I think he's still on penalties, right? So that counts for something. Thirumalesh says, bro, will Palmer play? Thirumalesh, I think he will. It's just a hunch. Because Maresca did not give us any information in the press conference, because he said that he's not trained yesterday. He's not going to train in the next 2 sessions as well. So we're going to have to see. But in my opinion, I think Palmer should play. That's just my opinion. Sukrat says also, bro, I was thinking of captaining Wood over Salah and Isak. Is that good? Sukrat, I mean, it's fine if you want to captain Wood. I think somebody else also asked the same question to me about 5-10 minutes back. I'm just saying that, the way I play this game, I just don't feel comfortable captaining a 7 million asset who doesn't have a very high ceiling, That's the problem. So it's just the way I play this game. I always go for the safe captaincies. If you're feeling it, if you feel it's your instinct, you can captain. I mean, that's totally up to you. Personally, if you ask me whether I would do it, I personally would not. Even though Salah blanked last week, you saw how many chances he had, right? It was the very, very brave defending by Aina, by Sells. He got like chances after chances after chances. Salah could have easily had a haul last week as well. So, just one blank wouldn't put me off Salah by any stretch of imagination. Samanli says, bro, I'm really confused on who to bench this week. Can you help? Yes, Samanli, definitely I can help. So you tell me your bench and what is your dilemma, and I can definitely help you. Ayush says, would you start Semenyo or Hall? I would start Semenyo, mate. He was really awesome against Chelsea. Did you see that goal by Semenyo? The first he won the penalty. I mean, that was stupid by Caicedo. He fouled him. It was a bad foul. But did you see that goal? He just left that defender for dead, and then his left foot was like a rocket. The shot was like a rocket. Sanchez didn't even see it coming, man. I mean, it was amazing to witness that. I was watching the game, and what a goal it was. It was amazing. James says, with Palmer predicted to play, should we swing captaincy his way? James, see, it's not about him being predicted to kind of play. The problem is, we're not for example, if Chelsea are winning 3-0 at half time, or maybe Palmer has scored a goal, maybe Chelsea are comfortably winning, what if he gets taken off at 60 minutes, or 55 minutes or 45 minutes for that matter? That would be my concern, because he does have a knock, right? Even if he's playing, maybe he'll take some steroids or some like injections or something like, I don't know what these players take to kind of get over the pain. But you never want to risk your best player. So if Chelsea are comfortably winning, because Wolves are not a great defensive team, right? It's easily that they can be winning like 2-3-0 by half time, and then if they take off Palmer, then it's going to be a problem, right? So if you have him in your team, just keep him. I wouldn't captain him this week. Another sip of my tea before it becomes iced tea. Right on. Azmir says, hey Wiz, this week's lineup is Sanchez, Gabriel, Hall, Robinson. That looks good. Gordon, Salah, Ahmad, Palmer, Rogers. That's fine. Isak and Mateta. Bench is Joao Pedro, Trent on the bench. What? Azmir, I would not bench Trent, mate. You have such a good asset in your team. I would play him, mate. Oh, back from a 97 points game week. That's fantastic, but I would still play Trent. I would play Trent. Maybe over Rogers, Bench Rogers and play Trent. Samanli says bench 3. Yo Pedro, Ahmad, Ambumo, Sar, Robinson, Timber, Lewis, and Hall. I would bench Lewis, and I would bench Lewis and Sar maybe. You know, I'd play the others. Lewis I would bench, and I would bench Sar. What's your transfer this week, says Thakif. Thakif, I've taken out the Wolves striker Strand Larsen and I brought in Chris Wood. That's my transfer. And I'm rolling the second free transfer. Michael says, hey Wiz, 3 free transfers, 0.9 in the bank, sent you my team on X. Any advice, please? I don't have access to X. Just a second. I'll try to look at your team. There you go. So Michael has Rhea, that's good. Hall, Gabriel, Robinson, Colville, nice. Bruno, Palmer, Gordon, Salah, Rogers. That's a fantastic team, mate. Roll your transfer, mate. Nothing to do. James says, what's your Liverpool and Everton picks for the double? James, for the double, I'm looking at, obviously I've got Salah and Trent. From Everton now, I've already got Pickford, right? I might not get anybody else from Everton because I've already got Pickford. Maybe I'll get Mikalenko. It depends on a lot of other things, right? I don't want to be stuck with Everton assets, right? Yeah. So I'm gonna go with a third Liverpool player because I don't think I'm gonna be using my assistant manager chip in GameWeek 24 because I wanted to keep a place for Arne Slot as a assistant manager if I felt I needed to play this chip now. So I'm keeping my options open, which is why I didn't bring a Liverpool player in this week. So I'm keeping my options open and I'll see. But I think I'll go with maybe I'll go with Jota. Depends on what I feel like. Maybe a Van Dijk, you never know. But I think I'll have 4 players for that double game week in any case. James Asmir says, I know putting Trent on the bench is quite dodgy, but I can't leave out Robinson. He's been racking out points. Asmir, that's fine, but bench Morgan Rogers, right? I'm not telling you to bench Robinson, mate. I'm telling you to bench Morgan Rogers for Trent. Imran says, Wiz, do you think Arsenal will get a clean sheet? Imran, I don't think so, mate. I think Aston Villa will score. Aston Villa has, ever since Emery's joined them, Aston Villa has been a bit of a boogie team. Last season, we lost the league because of Aston Villa, right? We lost both games to them, home and away. They did the double over us last season, so I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet. And Arsenal are rocking a little bit right now with injuries everywhere. So, yeah, Gabriel Jesus again suffered, I say injury to the same ACL or something like that. We're really short on players right now. So, no clean sheets for me, for Arsenal. Also, I'm stuck with Jackson, have 1.1 in the bank. I would keep Jackson, mate. I think Jackson did well last week. If I had Jackson, I would keep him for this week. He's got a great fixture against Wolves. You're not stuck with Jackson, mate. You keep him. You play him. You'll see the difference. Joel says Rogers or Sarr first in case Palmer doesn't play. I would keep Rogers first and Sarr second because I wouldn't want to keep another injured player as a cover for Palmer. I would keep a player at least who will play 90 minutes. So it has to be Rogers, Joel. Imran says, need to swap Kulusevski. Was thinking Gordon, have Isak already. You should go for Gordon, mate. Although the entry point, was, I think, a couple of weeks back. But I think Gordon, in being in such fantastic form, I think you should go with Gordon, mate. I think Gordon is a great option right now. At his price point, I think you don't have a better player than Gordon. Samunli says, one more bench. Samunli, I think I already answered that. I think I would bench... I'd bench Rico Lewis and I would bench Ismail Assar, mate. Both of them. Thakif says best 6 million striker. 6 million striker. I think I don't like any of these options which are available. I mean, I don't really rate Joao Pedro right now. He's not been in the best. I mean, he's all right, but you know, is not the best. But then there are not many options in that price bracket as well. Still, if you want, I'll check for you. I mean, Vissa can be an option. You know, if you don't mind the fixtures. I mean, UN Vissa has been doing fine. Beyond that, I mean, Raul Jimenez again, you know, he's, the fixtures are turning for Fulham as well. Don't really like anyone beyond these players. You know, maybe Welbeck is coming back. You can think about Welbeck, but I don't like them. You know, so the only options I really want to consider is Juan Vissa, maybe Raul Jimenez or Joao Pedro. But beyond that, nothing. You know, it's always better to spend 6 million on a midfielder because there's much better options in the midfield rather than in the striking department. Raul is fine, yeah. Raul is fine. Michael says, what would be your starting lineup for my team? Michael, your starting lineup for your team would be Hall, Gabriel, Robinson, Bruno, Palmer, Gordon, Mo Salah, Wood, Isaac, and Joao Pedro. Alright. Where were we? I did not mean to bring the double discussion. That's fine, mate. We need to discuss them because that's very important, because that has to have an impact on our transfer decisions. Otherwise, we're not taking it seriously. Yeah, Rodgers is a great shout, but hopefully Emery doesn't rock up to Arsenal as always. He will. They're a boogie team for Arsenal, I'm telling you, mate. Hey Todd, welcome to the stream. Todd says, I just woke up. What's the latest news? As of now, no news is good news, mate. As of now, there's not been any news, any leaks or anything like that. But we're waiting on anything. If we get anything, I'll let you know. As of now, there hasn't been any news or anything like that. There are actually rumors on Twitter about Saliba being out. I don't really like these rumors. I'm not sure about the rumors, where they're surfacing from. I mean, somebody has a leak or anything, I don't know. You know, but there are rumors. Like, there's like 5 accounts, big accounts have tweeted about Saliba. So I'm not, there's no smoke without fire, guys. So if you own Saliba, you should be a little bit cautious, I'm telling you this. Third bench mate, Mbumo versus Ahmad versus Joao Pedro versus Timber. I'd put Timber on the bench, mate. If you have Gabriel, I wouldn't play double Arsenal defense in this game. Bikesh says Joao Pedro or Mbumo. I would play Mbumo, mate. Have Raya start Gabriel, Joao Pedro or Rodgers. I would start Gabriel even if you have Raya. Do you think that Murphy as a potential Enzo replacement is viable? I don't like Murphy as an option in FPL, Jugs. Although, you know, he's been playing, he's been starting. I just don't know. I can't trust him as an FPL option. I don't know why. Maybe it's my bias, but I just can't trust him as an option. Jacob Murphy, you know. Yeah, I mean, he is definitely an option, but the thing is, Newcastle have got hot and cold fixtures, right? So bringing him right now before Bournemouth, Southampton, then they've got Fulham, City, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool. They've like really tough games coming up for them. So do you really want to get another player? Right now, the players which you want to go for are the players who are longer term options. You don't want to be spending your money on short term options, which you again have to take out because something is happening. So Amad Diallo is, after scoring a hat-trick, you surely have to consider Amad as well, Jugs. Abhirup says Captain Palmer, Vice Captain Salah. I personally think because of the Palmer's injury, I personally want to captain Salah here. If he wasn't injured, then I think Palmer was my first choice. Azmir says could also do Joao Pedro to Wood, but worried me about the fixtures going forward. Joao Pedro seems like a set and forget forward. Really tempted by the Southampton fixture especially. Don't make transfers based on one fixture right now. That's all I would like to say to all of you guys. This time is the time to be playing cautiously, playing safely, planning for the long term. If you make short transfers, it could burn you in the longer term, I'm telling you. If Palmer starts, then upside. If injured, then Salah becomes a captain. What happens if Palmer starts and gets taken off at 45 minutes? Abirup. Marco says start Virgil or Anderson. Also, is it time to take off Sar? I also have Jackson. I could do Jackson to Matata and Sar to someone, but feels very sideways. I would play Jackson. I don't think there's any point in taking out Jackson right now. If you want to take out Ismaila Sarr, that's fine. I mean, he's only out for 1 game week, right? It's not a long-term injury problem. So if you have anybody on the bench to cover him, then I think just put him on the bench and play the cover, or maybe just put Ismaila Sarr in the team and hope he plays. If he doesn't play, then you get somebody off the bench, right? He's not a long-term problem, Ismaila Sarr, mate. So if you want him long-term, you can keep him as well. So guys, less than 20 minutes to go, and we still don't have any leaks or anything of that sort. Someone please stop me from going Rhea and Strand Larsen to Pickford, and don't do that, Jared. Don't do that, mate. Because I mean, Rhea is fine. Rhea is already a great, the best defense in the league. You don't wanna mess with that. I mean, just for the double, if you want cover for the double, then bring in somebody like a Mikalenko instead of somebody like a Greaves or anything who you have. Don't kind of mess up your team structure, mate. I don't think it's desirable. Hall or Kirkash. I mean, right now Newcastle's fixtures are turning a little bit, but I feel longer term, I think Hall is a better option than Kirkash. I think Newcastle defense is coming back into their own. Bournemouth have tough fixtures. Right now, if I had to go for one, I would go for Hall. Thakif says, I've got Pedro, Isak, Larsen, 6 million in the bank. Need to bring out Larsen or not? I think you should. I've done Larsen to Wood. If you want, you can do the same. I think Larsen is not a player who would give you longer term. I think you want to keep him in your team, so it's always better to go with an option which you feel you can keep in your team for the longer term. So Larsen to Wood is, and you've got the money as well. So Larsen to Wood is desirable. Thakif. Apparently Sard pictured in Palace last training. Yeah, I mean, in my mind, I see Ismaila Sarr playing, right? So, and even if he does miss, he'll miss 1 game. It's not a long-term injury problems. So I personally feel that Sarr is a good option. We brought him in thinking he's a good option. We shouldn't kind of pivot just because he's injured for 1 week or maybe a doubt. Thakif says not enough money. You got 6 million in the bank, mate. Or is it supposed to be 0.6? Maybe you typed it wrong, mate. 6 million in the bank is awesome. You got enough money to bring in anybody you want to, mate. So if you don't have enough money, then you should just keep Larsen on the bench. If you don't have enough money, then keep Larsen on the bench. There's no point in kind of struggling, right? Hey Viz, Tsimikas could be an option as well. Hey George, I hope you're doing well. Tsimikas could be an option, but you always know that there's Robertson breathing down his neck. One bad performance and he's out of the team. That's the whole issue, mate. So personally, for me, Tsimikas is not an option. Not as long as Robertson is out for the long term. Azmir says, any idea when you're planning to cash in your wildcard? I might wildcard in game week 30, provided if I kind of dead end my team into game week 29 and don't use my free hit in 29, then I would possibly wildcard in 30 and plan to use my assistant managership either in game week 31 or in game week 36, depending on how the fixtures pan out in the future as well. So in game week 24, most probably I'm going to be triple captaining Salah. So that's the plan. Abbas says 2 free transfers. I will have to play 2 out of Sarr, Rogers, and I would play Sarr and Mbeumo, mate. You don't need to replace them. Just put Rogers on the bench, play Sarr and Mbeumo. I think that is what I would personally do. Zara says, hi, was any 6.8 million replacement for Larsen? 6.8 there's not a good entry point for any player, Zara. I mean, UN Visa is one who looks alright, but I personally wouldn't recommend you to go there. Maybe, put Larson on the bench for this week and maybe get 0.2 from somewhere and get Chris Wood. Or else just keep Larson. He'll give you two points every game. It doesn't make a difference that way. But you don't want to be taking out a substandard player and bringing in another one who's of the same ilk, right? You want to be upgrading when you are spending more money. I don't think that there's any upgrade. Maybe Visa, but they don't have the fixtures right now. After Larson, I got only 6 million. After Larson, out you got 6 million. Then you should, there's not many options, mate. Raul Jimenez and Joao Pedro are the only ones which I really would like in that price range. Otherwise, nobody else. Thoughts on keeping Castagna? Their defense did look horrible last week. They conceded 3 goals. He's not getting any attacking returns. But, you can play him in the easier fixtures. And if you have a replacement on the bench or rotation on the bench, then you can keep Castagna. But if he's in your first team, then you can possibly think about moving him on. Castagna shouldn't be your first team player. That's the whole thing. Because now Fulham don't look that good defensively. Rocking a little bit. Start Rodgers over Larson. Yeah, you can if you want to. Last game, Rodgers, which played against Arsenal at their own home stadium, Rodgers was amazing in that game. Although he didn't get a return, but he was a handful for Declan Rice and Partey. And I expect him to do the same this week as well. So, you can take a chance, play Rodgers, bench Larson. Larson isn't doing anything anyway. It's basically touch and go, Thak, if there's not much between them, to be honest with you. Start Virgil or Anderson, or Mbumo or Anderson. I would start Mbumo, mate. Jackson or Wood. This week, if you at the entry point, I think Wood maybe. They're both good options, trailers. There's the different price point, right? So if you need money for later, you can easily bring in Wood. But I think Jackson is also a fantastic option. There's nothing wrong with bringing in Jackson against Wolves, right? And by the way, guys, one more thing I would like to tell you is that for all of you who are considering that Palmer had a knock, Palmer will play on Monday, right? So Palmer has 2 extra days of rest to nurse his injury and come back and play the game. So even though Maresca said he's not going to be in tomorrow's training session, he still has more days to recover than, I guess, somebody like an Ismail Assar who plays today itself. On Saturday and Monday, there's 2 extra days for the recovery. So think about that as well. So don't be in a hurry to kind of bench Palmer or think that he's not going to play. The only thing I'm putting you off is Palmer captaincy, not playing him. I did not expect such a busy stream today, guys. I haven't had a time to have a drink. Let me have a drink of water. I'm sorry. Imran says, do you think Forest will sustain in the top 4? I think Man City might come back. I think Forest will be out of the top 4 at the end of the season. Abhirup says, hi, should I transfer Trossard out? As of now, you should not. If you already own Trossard, I think this is not the time to take him out, mate. Because Trossard, I feel that, because Arsenal don't have options right now, I think Trossard is going to play. Martinelli is going to play from the right, and Trossard is going to keep starting from the left-hand side. And when he plays, he is a threat. So if I was you, I would keep him. Abbas says, play 2 out of Rico, Robinson and Hall. I'd play Robinson and Hall, mate. And says I can swap Castagna for Gehi, but that's all I have. Currently got Gabriel and Virgil. Just play Castagna, mate. Against Leicester, you don't need to transfer him out. Just play him. And I don't think you have the replacement is not as appealing as you would want. So just play Castagna. You don't need to change. Start Sarr or Rodgers. I'd start Sarr. Imran says, do you watch along for Arsenal? Imran, because I don't use a camera, so I think watch along is kind of out of the question. It doesn't make sense, As long as I can put myself on the screen and do a watch along, it's difficult. It's gonna be a bit boring, right? Animation says, hey bro, Henderson to sell. Thinking of making the move as I don't have free hit for 29. That's not a bad option, yeah. I mean, you can do Henderson to sells. Even Tottenham are not gonna blank in 29, but the problem is they don't have a good keeper, right? So yeah, I mean, you can do Henderson to sells if you want to. This is a good entry point at this week as well. I feel they're gonna keep a clean sheet. Start Fabianski over Sanchez. I would play Sanchez, mate. Palmer cap again. You know, I think he was a great option before this knock thing came around. Now I'm not so confident that captaining him is the best idea. Owning him is great, you know. Last question was start Mateta or Joao Pedro. I'd start Mateta over Joao Pedro. Imran says Palmer will start. I agree. Vineet says start Pedro or Sar. I would start Sar. Take a punt on Savinho for Rodgers. I need to see more from Savinho before I can tell you to take a punt on him, mate. I mean, you know, taking a punt on Foden is different because he's proved himself in the league. I mean, Savinho, again, you know, hot and cold, not so sure. I mean, City is hot and cold right now. What's your current rank? Right now, I think I'm on 1.4 million, Tirumalesh, around that, you know. Need to get a move on a little bit, but we've got chips and I think gonna be able to do that, hopefully. Yasa says he had captain Bruno last game week, thinking of captaining Palmer this time. I am 1 million overall. I have to take some risky bets now to gain rank, or I'll come nowhere close. You'll be fine, Yasas. I mean, right now is not the time to take risks, you know. Right now, because you've got chips, right? If you get your chip strategy right, it can easily propel you from 1 million to top 100k. Very easily, you know. You just need to play the chips right. Don't take unnecessary risk rather than, you know, they're going to just push you back, mate. Rodgers or Anderson as first sub. I mean, Palmer's not a bad captaincy option at all, though. I mean, it's not a risk. Rodgers or Anderson as the first sub. Rodgers, mate. Relo says start 3, bench 1. Start 3. Hall, Trent, Gabriel, Robinson. Oh, man, this is difficult. Trent, Gabriel, Robinson, Hall. I'd bench Robinson, mate. Trent, again, you know, you never know. Whenever he's got that Hall in him. And Bournemouth has always been like Brentford has always been like a decentish fixture for them. Liverpool, you know, goal scoring. So if Trent can score one of the free kicks, I wouldn't bench Trent. Gabriel, you know, Gabriel, headers and stuff. Wouldn't wanna put him on the bench. I mean, Hall or Robinson. You choose between Hall and Robinson. Relo. Share picture on the Newcastle website. He must be fit to play today. I think. So who's going to drop out? Dan Burn? Because I don't think they're going to take out Botman, right? So their first choice would be Shearer and Botman. So Dan Burn goes out. I don't know, mate. I'm not really actually into Newcastle defense right now. I've got only attacking players from their team. So, but I personally feel that, yeah, you know, they'll do better off. They have Shearer and Botman rather than Dan Burn and Shearer. He was late for the stream. Fabianski or Henderson already have Munoz. If you have Munoz, then you should... You have Munoz, right? Amit, you play Henderson, mate. I personally think that neither of them will keep a clean sheet. Henderson should get more save points because they're at home, you know. Graham Potter is an attacking manager. You know, at least Henderson can get some save points. So take a chance, at least double up. If they keep a clean sheet, you'll get a good boost. Otherwise, if they concede, then it's going to be bad anyways, you know. Personally, if you have Munoz, then you can start Henderson, you know, double up the risk. It's not an easy answer either way around, mate. Rodgers replacement, Amad Diallo, Elanga, mate. These are the two if you want to go for them. At least 1 week punt. Don't go for 1 week punts right now, mate. Plan for the longer term. 1 week punt, you go for Elanga then. Ahmad is also fine. I mean, he scored a hat-trick against Southampton, obviously. But, you know, I think Elanga has a better fixture. Although he doesn't have as high a ceiling as Ahmad. You have Ahmad, then go for Elanga, mate. Captain Palmer or Salah. 1 week punt. Yeah, that's about it. 1 week punt. Who else? I mean, Jacob Murphy could be a 1 week punt, but Bournemouth defense. No. Leave it. I think go for Elanga, mate. Captain Palmer or Salah? I'm gonna captain Salah, mate, because of the Palmer being a bit of an injury doubt. I just hope he plays, and I hope he plays 90 minutes. But you know, when there's a doubt, you go Mo Salah. A bench Rodgers for Jimenez. Yeah, I would bench Rodgers for Jimenez, 100%. I have Ahmad. I answered us. Keep Pedro or sell with 3.5 million in the bank. I have Isaac and Jimenez. I would sell. I mean, Pedro is more of a long-term keep, although, you know, but I think maybe Jimenez to Wood later on could be a decent option. For this week, I'd possibly keep him. Your Pedro Abbas. Lock your teams. Guys, 2 minutes remaining. I'm not answering any more questions. Please lock your teams. Imran says, how do you rate Maresca overall? I think Maresca's a great coach, mate. I mean, he's had them playing, he's had a cohesive unit. He's had them playing much better than what Mauricio Pochettino did. Chelsea are a force to reckon with this season, although they've been tailing off a little bit right now. But I think Maresca's a fantastic coach. Imran says, up the Chels, can't wait to play you guys with. Yeah, mate. I mean, Arsenal are right now they're in a good position in the league, although we are not in a good position as far as our team is concerned, because you know we've got so many injuries, so many like niggles and stuff. You know, it's not been working out well for Arsenal right now. But oh my goodness me, it's always this happens. Always. Hang on, guys. FPL hamsters are getting tired. If you're still thinking about making your transfers, you're doing it wrong, guys. You're doing it wrong, I'm telling you. Please make your transfers in time, guys. What the hell is going on? Alright, I think I've fixed it. So here's my final team again. This is not good, guys. Hamsters are getting tired. Can you see my team, right? There you go. So this is my team, guys. This is my final team. I'm captaining Salah. My vice captain is I mean, I can put my vice captain on Palmer because it doesn't make a difference. It was his sack. I put it on Palmer. Doesn't make a difference either way. Colville second on the bench. Although I hope and I think a sack for captain. I'm not gonna go against Mahatma Gandhi, mate. Never again. No captaining the player in the first game of the game week. I'm not gonna do it, mate. Also I feel that, you know, you want to captain him, you can captain him, but if you saw the Chelsea game last week, Bournemouth are not an easy opposition by any stretch of imagination, mate. Bournemouth had a great opposition. They're a great team. You saw how they played. Yes, Chelsea got a goal through Reece James's free kick. Strapped for cash for every move rolling at the moment. Jugs, you're strapped for cash because you own Haaland, mate. Nothing can be done about that. You know, next week you get rid of Haaland and you'll be having lots and lots of cash, mate. Guys, I'm not going to be staying over and talking to you because I have a problem with my throat. You know, it was a bit of a struggle for me to get through this 1 hour of the stream as well. I thought it was going to be an easy stream with not so many questions. Wasn't that? Today was a lot of questions. It was a very good stream though. I really had lots of fun kind of answering the questions, and there were a lot of tough ones as well, especially ones related to Ismail Assar, Palmer, Morgan Rogers and such. So guys, next week, although we have a Saturday deadline, I'm going to be doing a Friday stream because I want to discuss my chip strategy, discuss in detail some things, and I won't be doing a deadline stream next week on Saturday, but to compensate for that, I'll do a stream on Friday. So please, if you can, be there on the stream on Friday so we can discuss our chip strategy, discuss team selections and stuff, because I will not be doing a deadline stream on Saturday. I just wanted to tell you this on the stream so all of you would know. Don't get scared looking at my stream notification thinking that, oh, I'm gonna miss the deadline. It was on Friday. I did not know. The deadline is on Saturday next week, but I'm gonna be streaming on Friday. So I hope to see you there. And until then, I hope you all have a great Game Week 22. And I hope you all have fun. And I'll see you on Friday next week. Till then, take care. May the arrows be green. FPL Wizard signing out, everyone. Bye-bye.